Welcome to Motivational Monday. This is Fed Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today I'd like to make the argument to you why I believe in 2024 is probably the easiest time to accrue wealth than in any other time in history. But before we start, make sure to smash the like button, share, and do subscribe, especially if you find value in this presentation. Okay, so let's take a look here. All right, I'm a student of history. I love to read history, and I especially love to hear about financiers of the previous era. Okay, so if we compare someone like JP Morgan, right, the namesake that has carried the institution of JP Morgan Bank, and today is one of the largest financial institutions in the world, is the largest financial institution in the world, and has probably made so many ripple effects. I mean, JP Morgan himself was a self-made billionaire. He was one that actually created the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission in the United States. He helped garner and help steer the United States of America out of a very deep depression. And he added tremendously to the US economy himself. Now, he did a lot of things in his life. And if you compare it to a billionaire today, you could take Jeff Bezos, you could take Elon Musk, whatever you want to compare it to, okay? If you compare them, their lives are completely different, right? JP Morgan was never on camera. JP Morgan was never accessible. He was always behind his estate, right? If you ever heard anything from him, it's only from people around him that were his inner circle that you ever heard anything about the man, right? So your connection, okay, your access and the modes of access that what he had compared to what the average person had was much greater. But if you look like today, okay, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, they're there in the open. They're in interviews, they have their Twitter accounts, they're interacting with people, they're showing you exactly what they've done in their lives, and it's done all in public. Now, that's only part of the equation, right? It's not to say that it's easy to become a Jeff Bezos, it's easy to become an Elon Musk. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is simple because those principles are still there in our own levels. Now, everybody has their own circumstances, but in any other time in history, the connection and the level of the playing field has never been more grounded than it has today. Now, if you think about it, the internet has leveled it, right? A person sitting in Poland or a person sitting in Japan or a person sitting in South America or a person sitting in South Africa somewhere has the same access to information than anybody else. And you could even translate it if it's not in your home language. I mean, they've dubbed my voice into AI, and all of a sudden I speak Japanese, all of a sudden I speak Spanish, and it's just incredible that I'm able to communicate to people giving my message in completely different language that I don't even understand. And so the proximity and the availability is tenfold, it's even 100-fold of what it was 100 years ago. Now, that's only one of the equation. You also have the tools today to do things that you've never done ever before. You have a smartphone, you have a computer, you have the internet, you have social networks that you're able to increase your social network from just your friends and increase it even further. And that knowledge is even greater. Now, there are many forums for traders to give back and forth about their trading ideas, what they've done, and and they get checked on it, and they get comments on it, and they learn from other traders. I know TradingView has something like that. Some of the other platforms also have something like that. And it's really very important that, today you can learn from so many more people. Just because you're living in an isolated town does not mean that you don't have access to do so many other things that other people are able to do as well. Now, the question is, okay, do you have what it takes to get it? Can you believe that you can do things? Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying there's going to be hard work, but if you enjoy the process, even if you don't succeed in it, watch this, even if you don't succeed on it, you'll accrue certain experiences, certain knowledge, certain skills that otherwise you would not. And you can use those skills transferably in whatever you're doing in your real life, right? If I become a better parent, well, guess what? I'm become a better employee. How does that work? Well, if I know how to handle my kid's tantrum, then I know how to handle a coworker's tantrum just as well, right? What's the difference, right? If we go back to our childhood self, okay, it could be a 40-year-old going to becoming a child, or it could be a child acting like a child because that's what they are, they're raw. At any given time, as long as I know how to handle the situation, that's wealth. That's transferable skills. That puts me in a level of a playing field where otherwise I wouldn't be in, right? And those kind of skills are so accessible today. There's so much information on the internet. There's even Harvard classes. I mean, my kid is trying to, study, and he's not there in university yet. He's in between a couple of things, and he's accruing so much information. He's saying, I'm taking Harvard classes. I'm looking at him. I said, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, they're all, published on YouTube. So I'm taking some Harvard classes. I said, great, good for you, And that's the point. The point is that number one, you have the tools in order to get it. And number two, you have the information in order to get it. And number three, you just need the willpower. You need to believe that you can make that leap. Now, most people, get to success by chance, okay? Yes, they'll tell you we thought about it, we strategized, we did all this, but normally, most of them don't believe that they could actually make it. And that is where every single person has to really work on themselves to, even if you don't believe, just go through the motions of doing it, because at the end of the day, you'll become that much greater by just following through. Thank you for joining us for this Motivational Mondays. We'll see you here next week.